So I was rudely cut off again, but here's another piece that you can't make sense of as art if you think that art is just stuff that is imitations. It's Robert Rauschenberg's bed, and you can see it's an actual bed. There's the pillow up here. It's not a painting of it. It's like there's a 3D like pillow hung on the wall there with a fitted sheet and a quilt, and then Robert Rauschenberg just painted some paint over all of that. But it's a bed with paint on it hanging on a wall, not an imitation of a bed. It's a real, honest to goodness bed. Well, you can only make sense of that as art if you think that, art doesn't always have to be imitation. You might think the same thing with, for example, Klaus Oldenburg's cherry on the spoon sculpture. That is kind of the iconic sculpture of Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's like Calder's Stabile for Grand Rapids. Klaus Oldenburg's cherry on a spoon is for Minneapolis. Well, it's not really imitating a cherry on the spoon. Yeah, it's kind of like influenced by that, but it's this new iconic thing that he's created. There's another Klaus Oldenburg sculpture, which is a bedroom in an art museum. And so now that you've got this new reality theory of art, well, now things start getting like even more difficult to try and define art, because we've gone from this point where using the imitation theory, we could say, look, these two paintings, these are art because they're imitations of beds. But then you fast forward to Van Gogh, and it's like, well, come on, Van Gogh's doing more than just imitating a bed here. No one would ever mistake this for a bed the way you might the first couple paintings. So you've got to switch to this reality theory where you say, look, he's not just created an imitation of a bed, he's created, well, a new image that's influenced by beds. But then if you take that reality theory even further, well, then you get the Robert Rauschenberg, like actual bed with paint splattered on it, hung on a wall, to the Klaus Oldenburg, like actual bed just sitting in an art museum. And then that raises the question, well, wait a second. What makes this bed that Klaus Oldenburg has created different from this bed, which is, this is just a photo of a bed from some furniture catalog? This is not a piece of art. It's just a bed, whereas Klaus Oldenburg's bed and Robert Rauschenberg's beds, well, they're beds, but they're also works of art. So what makes this a work of art, this a work of art, but this not a work of art? That's the big question that Danto has teed up for us now. And in the next video, we'll look and see how he starts trying to answer that question.